There's something that's been really bothering me lately, which feels strange to say because I'm such a big proponent of technology, and whatever the latest tech is, I'm usually the first one to jump on it. I've been a huge supporter of AI since day one, but recently that excitement has started to shift a little bit, especially when it comes to anything that's a craft, whether it's writing, design, art, music. These are things that people spend their whole lives just refining, not because it's going to necessarily make them a ton of money, but because it's an expression of who they are and it's their passion and it's something that they really find joy in. And that's really where I've been struggling lately. I'm thinking a lot about what this means to be a musician and what that looks like going forward. My dream has always been to make it as an artist, and I'm not talking about just paycheck to paycheck. I'm not talking about being a starving artist. I'm talking about making a comfortable living as a musician, as an artist. When I was little, music award shows were an event in my household. My mom would make all the snacks. She loved them for the fashion. My sister, she might have had some crushes on some of the boy bands. My dad was just there for the snacks. But for me, I told myself that I was gonna be on that stage someday. And that's been my dream ever since I was little. But now, the music industry has changed so much since I was that little girl watching the award shows. Social media has made it so much more accessible for everyone to get discovered and get their music out there and get seen. And now with AI making it so easy for anyone to create music, even if you're not a musician, I think we're in another big disruption of what that landscape looks like. When I think about the things that make music as a career sustainable, it's things like sync licensing, producing and songwriting for other artists. And it's the opportunities for those things are just not really gonna be there like they have been in the past. And I don't think those are viable solutions for musicians to generate income anymore. Live shows, I believe that's always going to remain. I don't think that's going away, which is great. And that's where I truly find my joy and passion, is playing live. And I'll be doing that regardless of what happens with AI, regardless of if it means I don't get paid for gigs anymore in the future. I'll still be playing, because at the end of the day, music is an expression for me, and I'll never stop doing that. So what's scaring me is the path that I thought I was on. With AI platforms like Suno and Warner now basically having a stake in that, I just see the writing on the wall that the music industry landscape and what it means to make it anymore is gonna change. And now that music is going to be so accessible for anyone to create and to create hits, I think musicians are gonna have to rethink their path forward. Whether that means using AI or not, I'm not really sure. This has brought up not only questions about my path forward, but my identity as an artist and a musician. When someone asks me, what do you do for a living? I say I'm a musician. It's just who I am. It's how I identify. I've identified with that for so long that now with things kind of like changing and getting disrupted, I question what that means for me as a musician. Like, who am I as a musician now? And maybe that doesn't change at all, but it's definitely making me question that. And what does it mean to be a musician now? So some of you might be thinking, well, AI music sucks. They're gonna want to listen to a human instead of, an algorithm that created the music. But I wouldn't be so sure. And the scary part is, I think, especially now when there's a lot of, fanfare and controversy happening, it's being talked about a lot. I think people are gonna maybe pay a little bit more attention. Once this becomes the norm, like, people aren't gonna care who created it. And I've heard some AI music, and I gotta say, it's some of it's not that bad. And I think for the general public who just likes to listen to good music, they're not really gonna care who created it. AI can now create something that can invoke the same emotion as if a human created it. And that's the scary part for me. So here's my thing. I love AI. I really do. I use AI every day, pretty much. I don't think I feel great about using it for music, because music for me is very personal, and it almost feels like I would be cheapening something that is, I believe, is such like divine inspiration and expression. So I'm not sure how I feel about AI in music creation. So then I question, like, what's the difference between using a sample that someone else created versus using maybe a loop or a sample that AI created? I'm not really sure. I think it's a slippery slope, and I'm still trying to understand that aspect of it. So here's where I'm at with things. I think musicians and artists are going to have to pivot. We're going to have to find new ways forward with our careers, and I think we're gonna have to find new ways to make a living, and ultimately find new ways to be more human in this ever-evolving digital world we live in. I know that I still want to use music as a vehicle for inspiring others and helping other people pursue and achieve their dreams. I still want to figure out a way to make a sustainable career out of music and just being able to inspire others to do the same. So if you're feeling this fear about how AI is going to change the music industry, or whatever you're pursuing, and if AI is making you question your art or your identity as an artist or creator, you're not alone. I think it's safe to say that there are many artists and creators and musicians and writers out there who are feeling the same exact way right now. And I think these conversations are really important to have. So I appreciate you watching this video. I hope that it was thought-provoking for you. And if you have any thoughts about AI and the music industry and how things are going to change, please leave them in the comments below. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm figuring this out in real time, and I would love to invite you to take this journey with me while I navigate my way through this and what this looks like for me as a musician and you as well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.